JR, I really appreciate you being very open and vulnerable with me. I see your heart, and it was really sweet to see that.
So Arya, you also had a connection with JR.
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. Listen, we're talking to you guys about episode 2 of this particular series. Can't lie to you, it's warming up beautifully. And there was a lot of issues that were happening in episode 2. They obviously had to choose as well their partners. Not everybody got to choose. I watched a little bit of episode 3 as well, so I know what happened ahead of time. But you know, all the couples that came out, I ain't gonna lie to you, none of them gonna make it. Now, obviously, we had JR with Zena. Yeah, JR and Zena, who then obviously he ended up choosing Sandy. Can't lie to you, with me, JR and Sandy, they just want to smash. Can we be honest with you? JR and Sandy, they just want to smash. Okay, all right. And they ended up kissing. So that's another story for another day. Then we also had Chanel and Dave, and I'll break these couples down. I'll show you video clips of it. Don't worry. Chanel and Dave, they chose each other because they're going to be great friends. So that was interesting as well, because Dave finally got a match, but it was just a friendship thing. So I don't know about that. We have Mariah and Micah as well. And they got together again, another friendship, which was in that place as well. And then we had Scotty and Zena, you know, we know too, who he gave an eloquent speech about how beautiful she was and how beautiful the relationship was and how seen he feels, etc., etc., etc. And we'll break that down for you guys as well. And then we had, you know, the last one that was that we had there was Nick and Vanessa also got together as well, and you know, they you know had a good rapport, good energy. There's some things that happened when she was drunk that she was saying, you didn't talk to me. We're gonna break all of that down. So listen, let's just make sure we like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot to break down in this particular situation. We're gonna go through it bit by bit and give you guys a complete breakdown of what we saw. Okay, first we're going to start off with obviously JR and Sandy, because they're the main characters I feel like in the show. I want to start off with their date, because their date was interesting. Okay, very interesting. Let's start off with them, with JR and Sandy as well. Again, make sure you guys are liking, share, subscribing, clicking on that fabulous bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. Little Black Book, you know what time it is. All right, got my notes up, ready to go. JR and Sandy.
You got really nice lips.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. What type of kisser are you?
I guess I'm more of like a lip kisser.
All right, so we're on episode 2, and we have not heard any other kind of conversation from JR and Sandy, mainly around them having physical and sexual attraction. Now, the biggest problem that I have with JR and Sandy is the focus on this physical attraction. In fact, in this conversation, they actually end up having a kiss. Not only that, then we also saw another situation where later on, when JR is talking about his why he chose Sandy, he talks about the physical touch that she issues. And I said, this is giving very much, you're out here to move mad. It's not giving somebody who's serious. It's giving you on a free pass. It's giving you came here to get, you know, to move a bit mad and move mad legally, because technically you guys are not together. So a lot of the conversation that we're sharing has been around physicality, being sexual, you know, being naughty and just being so physically attracted to each other. And for me personally, it's completely different type of conversation that he had with Sandy that he has with Arya. With Arya, he seems to be a bit more serious, have a bit more conversation. Here's my take as to why I believe he chooses he chose Sandy over Arya. Arya, if he starts playing with Arya, she's going to develop real feelings. Those real feelings he's going to have to manage, and those real feelings he's going to have to get out of a situation which will be much more deeper. And that situation can backfire on him as looking at the bad guy, right? Quote unquote, the bad guy. So it's much easier to play with someone like Sandy, because Sandy is also up to play on the beach with all the sand. So because Sandy's willing to play that game, be physical, and she's far more open to being more sexual, more energetic, more very physically friendly, it's a much easier choice to choose Sandy if there's to be an escalation in the relationship, because Sandy's a big girl. She can pull up her boots, she can put on her boots and put on her dress and not complain about the relationship escalation going to a physical place without there being any kind of commitment, because both him and Sandy are looking for the same thing, to play on the beach shores with some sand. They both want to have a physical relationship and, of course, yes, learn one or two things about themselves, but the reality of the situation is, from what we have seen, it is more about the physical and the flirtation that they
I like to like
sloppy.
bite on lip. You like sloppy?
Yeah, like give me all that spit. Like let me put my tongue down your throat.
Oh boy,
and do it to me too.
Stop.
I want to taste it all.
Are you like this while you're dancing?
No, only those I feel a connection with.
Now, one thing I will say, okay, all right, one thing I will say is that in this particular space, what I have seen with JR, though, he does want some level of emotional support. I think later on, when he ends up choosing, they did speak about the he appreciates Sandy and how she speaks to him, right? And how she encourages him and how she says, you know, that he became greater than he actually is. And I think he actually did appreciate that particular conversation. I think they were discussing this, but about them obviously being about him growing and becoming a fitness person. And because he became this great fitness person, at the beginning, people were laughing at him, but now look where he is. And she was really encouraging him, saying, you know, people laugh at you at the very beginning, but as you come around and actually start achieving, people actually acknowledge you. And I think I saw an energy lift from him when he heard those words. I wonder if that's what's missing from the relationship between him and Zena, that he's missing the aspect of her being very how do I say this? Celebratory of his achievements, you know, wanting and needing somebody to really support you and uplift you. Sometimes people need more of that, you know, to be able to really function in a relationship.
I like to be pursued.
It's better than what I imagined.
That was clean.
Mazzaline, am I lying or am I lying? You know what I mean? So as you just saw, they just kissed as well. And so I think for me, listening about their relationship, right? One of the things, you know, he wanted to be uplifted, supported, and you know, he said that physical touch is a really big thing for him. So him needing physical touch from his partner, he was getting a lot of that from Sandy, and I guess that's what he was missing from his relationship. Maybe that aspect of touch that is his love language, he's not getting from Zena. So that's something that he can really communicate with Zena when he goes back into a relationship. Hopefully, you know, he doesn't have to move mad in order to be able to recognize that these are the things that are missing in his relationship, right? And so, you know, they spoke about the fire that they both alluded to, and I'll go to that in the very end as well, because, you know, they were accused by one brother as well. So let's go to that as well a little bit.
This has been pushing all of us so far outside of our comfort zone. I have said multiple times that eye contact, you know, that's something that's I'm not really good at.
Well,
Now let's pause it right here. First and foremost, somehow, some way, JR has managed to get our good sis Sandy to open up emotionally and give eye contact, two things that he struggled to do for a very long time. You know why? You know why? Either he's not very good at opening her up, or guess what? You were never her type, and she was just biding her time too. But we're going to talk about that. Either two things: either he is really crappy at creating a safe space, or maybe you ugly to her and she's not telling the truth, and she's been biding her time in that relationship as a, you know, a placeholder till she gets to what she actually wants. Right? I think it can be a mixture of both. Okay. Me personally, I've already told you, I don't think Sandy even likes him. Okay. My thing is that she doesn't even like him. And so for me personally, I looked at it and I go, there's a reason why she was able to open up to JR so instantly. One, attraction, but two, she felt more comfortable and more safe to do so. And the fact that he crashes out on this episode trying to say that why he actually, you know, why she's opening up so quickly to him, tells me all I need to know. That's why you're in a safe space.
You seem to be fine with it. The both of you showed up here with partners that were ready to be with you forever. And you guys seem to have a nice connection. And if it's play or if it's fun, then let that be your life.
You don't know about the connection that we've had, though. It hasn't just been all fun and play.
Now, obviously, our good brother here, Nick, started accusing JR and Sandy of saying about, is it all play? Now, do I believe it's all play? Absolutely. But I'm the outside source. Nick says he believes that it's all play. Then my brother, you don't even need to be there. Right? But you knew what girl you were trying to marry, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. You knew what girl you were trying to marry. This girl is nothing different to what you have always seen. Now, the reality of the situation is that Nick, in this scenario, I get why you feel frustrated, but the reality is you signed up for this show. You agreed that you would be separated. You agreed that you were going to spend time alone and that they could end up connecting with somebody else. Unfortunately, your girl has connected with somebody else. Someone else who is black, 6 foot plus, he handsome. And I know your brain is thinking to yourself, and I don't want to say it, but let me say it. I know your brain is whizzing and saying to itself, if JR hits, can't go back. Okay? If JR hits, there ain't no going back. Okay? All right? So the reality of the situation, he's not wrong. But the reality is, it's one of those things where you have to learn how to you have to learn the time and the season when you can say certain things. Also, you got to know how to also say it. But you know, and I don't want to say it crudely, that once she goes black, it's gonna be hard to go back. And I think you might be a little bit scared of that, bro. Now, in all realness and all jokes aside, when I look at their relationship, there's things that she actually ends up saying about their relationship, which is also very interesting, right? Like she said about the vulnerability, the fire that she has, and not being able to be fiery in their relationship because obviously Nick doesn't allow for that to be. But she did mention about how if her fire and his fire might clash, which told me all I need to know. If you've been arguing with your previous partner, but then you say you come into a new relationship and you're saying that JR's fire and Sandy's fire is a problem, then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, Sandy, maybe your fire can be a little bit of a problem. We may need to look at that, right? We may look at the fact that your fire may sometimes go a bit above and beyond. And so that is also a big issue too we have to look at, right? Now, the reality of the situation is Sandy's already kissed this man. So that's why I said to you that Nick is not wrong. But the fact of the matter is the way he's is the way he's displaying it. Nick isn't wrong. Sandy just lips this man and kissed this man and told nobody. Okay, so both Zena and her and him are without any type of knowledge or understanding. Okay, all right, without any other understanding or knowledge. Now, obviously, with Nick. I just think to myself that what was it? What was it? I just my notes about Nick and Sandy. Okay, so he obviously also said as well that it about I already said it's about taking the time to open up. But I think also with Nick and his connection, he was acting weird as well. And I'll come there in a second. I'll come in a second about what his weirdness is, but I just feel a bit weirded about Nick's connection with Vanessa. Just the way that, maybe it's the way that she approached him because he was a bit drunk, but we'll talk about it in a second or two. But yeah, that's my JR and Zena kind of breakdown, I thought, with that particular aspect. I definitely feel like Nick is insecure about their connection, but there is some truth to his insecurity because in reality, they've already kissed JR and Sandy, and JR and Sandy are really here to mess around. And I'll be honest with you, the messing around is kind of crazy. Okay. All right, cool. So let's talk a little bit more about Nick and Vanessa, because I think they're also a little bit weird as well. And I think it was just weird the way they also acted as well, because of the fact that Vanessa approached him when she was drunk, and that was a bit weird. I don't know, and I hate that little baby voice you do. I hate that. I can't stand that baby voice. It's annoying.
You haven't even tried to talk to me at all.
I haven't what?
Tried to talk to me.
Come chat with me.
Now, my first thought was Nick and obviously our good sis Vanessa is that Nick is not invested. I know he talks a good game, but he's not invested. There's something about his energy that puts me off. I don't know what it is, but it's like, no, do you know what? It's not putting me off. What it is that I know he hasn't let go of his girlfriend. He has not let go of his girlfriend. He has a hot young girlfriend, okay, all right, who he's just let go, and a black man's about to enter, and he's very shook. And all he's really concerned with is about the relationship with Vanessa. And so all I see is look at his body language here. Look at his face. He's not even looking at her. And the fact that she said, obviously, you've come to you haven't spoke to me all day, basically, whatever you haven't spoke to me. And he said, it's because people are here. So that told me all that told me all I need to know. He's too focused on the optics of the other person. He's too focused on the optics of what his girlfriend is doing right, his ex-girlfriend is doing right now, instead of actually being focused on what he's actually doing. Right. And it's funny because I remember in the very first episode, Sandy said something. She said, "Oh, I bet you're not going to text me anymore." When she's now going to be doing her trial husbandry. I said, "Why would she say that?" And I think that's because sometimes Nick, can be a little bit too emotional. Maybe the way he moves could be a little bit manipulative. Maybe he can stonewall. Maybe he does a little bit of those tricks where he tries to draw you back in when he feels some way. I don't know, but I thought it was quite interesting. Now this conversation is weird though. But
I was like, why hasn't Nick talked to me?
It's because it's like in front of everyone.
First?
It's like, I have strong feelings for you. It's so obvious. And they've developed quickly, but.
Oh, he lying. He can't even look at her in the face properly. He lying. He can't even look at her in the face properly. Every time he says, oh, look, I got strong feelings for you. I'm here, but I got strong feelings for you. I got strong feelings for you. I got strong feelings. I just want to let you know I got strong feelings for you. But, I just want to let you know it's strong. I'm receptive. But it's like, bro, he's not even looking at her. And that tells me, again, he's distracted and he's not fully invested in this relationship that he's building with Vanessa. And even though she's drunk, and that's annoying, I hate people that are drunk like this, still, he's not connected.
I think they're real. I mean, I know they're real. That's where I am right now. That's where I've been all night. Yeah.
Really?
All right.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm really just glad that I met you.
When it is.
He's like, really? And it's even more jarring when she's drunk. So can't even lie to you. I'm not trying to, listen, she should be herself. I'm not asking her to change. I'm just saying it was a little bit jarring. But she saying, really? And I was like, babe, relax, allow it, stop it, please. And so watching her interact with him, I know she was looking for some reassurance, right? Because she wants to make sure that, he's still in it, he's still involved, he's still fully invested. But as you can tell, the way he's talking right now, it's not really fully invested in the scenario nor the situation. The way he's talking, he's quite separate from the actual issue. And that's what's concerning for me. You know what I'm saying to you? Is that he's just saying things for the same thing's sake.
Something.
Uh-oh.
I completely share that sentiment, and I'm happy. I am happy about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't even want to be here. I just want to go hang out with you.
I don't even want to be here. I just want to go and hang out with you. Then go and do it. Go do it. Why are you talking to her all day? You want to go and talk to her? Go and do it. You're lying. You don't really want to talk to her all day. That's the reality of the situation. Really and truly, it's optics. You want to say those bars, make yourself seem like a nice guy, good guy. But in reality, I'm saying, like, I can see where your energy and the way you're looking body language wise, you're not fully there. The eyes are shifty. Your body language is showing that you want to run. And to be honest, I'm not really seeing you heavily involved. And it's because you still are concerned about Sandy, not concerned about your connection that you actually have.
So sweet.
But?
There's no but. Hi, babe. How's your night been?
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, obviously, the second part, because Vanessa and Dave started speaking, right? And this part was jarring too. So Vanessa and Dave started talking. I can't lie to you. It was jarring. Okay. It was jarring to see Vanessa and Dave talk as well, because I don't know. I was getting manipulation from this guy so heavy as well.
Don't cry. It's okay. Just tell me.
Trying. Checked up.
All right, so we started opening the conversation. So Dave basically pulled Vanessa aside again. Dave pulled Vanessa aside again to have a conversation. Right now, nothing wrong with that. Again, I really shouldn't be too hard on him, but he has a conversation, and again, once more, he's doing the exact same thing he did in the very first episode, where I see him trying to manipulate the situation to get Vanessa to leave and not say it's him making that choice. Right. So listening to the conversation, I was a little bit perturbed. Let's listen.
This like week is so really intense. Just fucking emotional stuff all the time.
Yeah. I do think there are things I've taken from.
Now, of course, listen, I get it. He's emotional. You know, it's very hard, very difficult, right? Okay, cool. Since it's very hard and very difficult, and you really believe, if you really feel like you can't do this anymore, my guy, why not propose? Why not propose? Now, you said in the very first episode, you said, what if I end up meeting someone and I connect to somebody? The reality of the situation is Dave and Chanel are not romantic connection. He knows this. He's thinking to himself, for the next 4 weeks, can I be connected to Chanel when it's not a romantic connection? For the next 4 weeks, can I be a friend? Whilst Vanessa is actually romantically connected with Nick, it seems. Can I stay for 4 weeks and wait my turn? No. And so now I see this very passive kind of way of trying to connive his way into getting her to leave. I saw in episode 1, I was like, this don't feel right. And I'm seeing in episode 2 again. And so I'm looking at him going, I don't like the way that he comes across with these.
I can't understate how much I've thought about it in the last few days. Because I love our life together.
I mean, it's nice to hear that, but it's like I'm taking it day by day, moment by moment. I'm excited for the trial.
You're excited for it?
Now, the brother heard, she said, I'm excited for the trial. And the brother almost lost it right there and there. He said, excited for the trial? What you talking about? What do you mean? You mean you're actually excited to go ahead and give me what you said you were going to do? So my thing is, Dave, if you can't take it, because Dave at the end of this conversation says, almost alluding to the fact he wants to leave the process. Well, if you want to leave, Dave, you can leave. But the reality is, if we're going to leave, are you going to give Vanessa what she wants, which is she wants to be married? So are you going to propose at the end of leaving this process if you leave? Will you actually propose? And my question is, will Vanessa stick to her guns of saying that she's going to leave at the end if he doesn't propose?
Yeah. I feel really happy with the person that I'm going to choose.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like, bro started calculating right. They said, wait. Okay, wait. You mean you're happy? Oh, wait. You mean you're happy that, you mean you're happy with the person that you're with? He said, he sobered up real quick. He said, oh, okay. Wait, hold on. In his head, he's already planning. He's planning something. And that's what I can see it. You can see someone doing something. They're planning something ahead of time, because you can see by the way that he's having to now realize that it's actually serious what she said. Oh, you thought it was a game. No, it was serious. She meant what she said, right? That she's going to take this process seriously. And you can see how he is suddenly getting frightened because he can actually genuinely lose his girlfriend. Oh, you thought you should. And that goes back to what I said in episode 1 about the power dynamic, that he's always had the power in their relationship. And now she's doing this where she's showing that she has more power. He's struggling to actually receive the situation for what it is, and he's trying to wrestle back power with these moves of I'm very emotional. I'm bro, you know what you have to do.
Well, I think I'm being shown a lot of qualities that I really like.
Oh, by this other person.
Yeah.
That I don't have.
She didn't even say that, bro. She said, seen a lot of qualities that I like from the other person. And she never even finished to say that it's because what you're missing it. And he filled it in. And so I was like, Dave, again, bro, let's not go down that lane, bro. Why are you trying to fill in the gaps? Listen to what she's got to say. Because that's what we did in the very first episode. And you weren't listening. You tried to put it onto her, what she was actually saying. Listen to her, see what she's saying, then reply.
That's not what I'm saying.
Just kind of nervous just hearing some of the things.
That's fair. It's fair to be nervous.
I'm truly seeing this as like you and I are broken up, and you need to lead with trust in this process. You need to not worry about me.
Now that'll do it. That'll do it. That'll do it right there. That would do it right there. She said, listen, you need to not worry about me in this process. That will send shockwaves through his body. That is like asking the question, asking someone the question that you should never ask. Like asking your partner, is he better than me? Don't ever ask somebody if they're better than you. You understand? Don't ever. You'll get a shock of your life. You know what I'm saying to you? You'll get a shock of your life. Don't ever ask if someone's better than you. You know what I'm saying to you? You'll get a shock of your life. Now, the reality of the situation is, right, with Dave here is like I said, the reality is now beginning to settle in. Vanessa's looking to actually take this process seriously, but if she keeps having conversations with him, she will get drawn back in, because though you've broken up the relationship emotionally, y'all are still tied. Everybody who's broken up with their partner hasn't actually broke up their partner emotionally just yet. They're still tied. So if you keep talking to her and she keeps talking to him, this will keep drawing you back in. So we actually need to stop talking, because every time we talk, we're getting emotional. There's tears in her eyes, tears in his eyes. It's a very strong bond that can't be broken. We need no contact.
I remember that when me and you were best friends.
Maybe I can't be here. It's too much.
See her body language, how it said, she was like, he when he started saying, you know, I don't know if I can be here. Well then, brother, leave. Leave, brother. If you can't be here, you better leave, brother. Leave. You need not be here, my brother. Go. She can finish off the process without you. And that will just show that, again, that should let her know, okay? That should let her also know that this brother doesn't want to marry you. This brother just wants control over you, right? Instead of him saying, okay, all right? Instead of him just saying, yeah, that for me personally, I'm feeling like, you know, I'm feeling like, you know what, I'm struggling in this process. I'm gonna make it through. He's like, look, well, you know, I might end up leaving. Well, okay, then. So, are you going to propose? If it's too much for you, are you now going to propose? No, then we're in the same boat as we were before. Whether you leave or stay, we are in the same boat, because the objective of our situation is to get married with the ultimatum. And what he's doing is that he's trying to break the ultimatum. If she doesn't realize, he's trying to break it by him telling you that he wants to leave. What he's really saying is, I'm not going to play this game. Fine. But then are you going to propose? No. So he's not going to propose. He's going to try and break the game. He's actually, so this was actually your power move. Your power move was to put him on ultimatum. He agreed. And now he's saying, I'm not allowing you to have the power in the situation. I can remove it by exiting the process. But if he exits the process, will he now marry you? Will he now marry you? Will he now marry you? If not, then you got to walk. So we're in the same place as before. If he won't marry you, you now need to walk. Okay, we're gonna leave that there. Let's go on to Caleb and Maria really quickly, because they did actually say some really deep things with Caleb and Maria as well. Let me just do that too. Caleb and Maria. Okay. So Caleb and Maria. I say so. Caleb and Maria, interesting couple.
Like I still like it's Chanel. Like I love Chanel, but I'm here. And Mariah, she's an interesting woman.
So if you're my spouse in this trial marriage, what is this
character, whoever that actor was portraying that person, was like really dope, or that character talk like that. You don't act like that.
That's so it's like on a fight for survival all the time and was super paranoid about me. So whenever she wasn't working, we were just always together and I didn't have that freedom to explore.
All right, so Caleb and Maria are very interesting, right? Because what we have is two people, and we're not really sure what's really going on. I'll tell you why. So Caleb doesn't know why he doesn't want to marry Maria, but he kind of does, because he kind of alludes to it, but doesn't actually say it, right? Why he wants to not marry Maria right away. Maria lets us know that she's ready to marry, but we now find out she's got abandonment issues, very heavy, and she gives us a background of her childhood, which helps us understand what maybe Caleb is saying. So Caleb actually starts telling us that in the relationship, he feels like he always has to build people up. My question is, why do you always choose people that have to build up, Caleb? Why are you a save them? Why are you a captain save them all? Okay. And Maria too, why is it that you now have to always cling to your partner where you almost become codependent, as Caleb said? But we'll just play a bit more of the clip.
At times, my cousins would be able to play outside, but then I'd have to stay with her. So
Yeah,
it's like this level of control that didn't allow me to be as free or to be a kid.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Very close with my family.
You had one.
Okay, so as you just said, obviously there was a level of control in her family where she couldn't really go outside. You know, her mom, she had to always be beside her mother, and that can actually promote a lot of anxiety. So if your parent is a carer who always wants you by their side, doesn't allow you out of their sight, was very, very much controlling you by what you could and couldn't do for most of your childhood, what you'll realize is you actually can develop a very anxious attachment, and also can be very, very afraid of being abandoned. So you'll do a lot of things to hold on to a person. Can end up becoming codependent, or especially if your relationship with your parent meant that you were doing things that an adult, we call it you were adultified, right, in a sense, right, where you're doing things before your time as a child. And so what can end up happening in the space is that what we see with Maria is that she maybe potentially has some codependent behaviors with Caleb, and Caleb maybe feels some type of way about the fact that she's so attached to him and not necessarily her own individual person. Now, he doesn't really fully express that nor flesh that out, which frustrates me a little bit, because it's like, well, then you should know exactly what the issue is, because you're saying no to the marriage, but you don't know exactly what it is. And it's not very clear cut from Caleb. So that was also interesting.
Yeah.
We have one sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I have my mom and dad. And so I'm extremely grateful for them. But I'm also grateful for like I could go venture
Wherever you
off. I
want.
just had to be back
Oh yeah,
by a certain time.
that's amazing that they gave you so much freedom to explore. You know, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll be able to bike ride.
Okay, so we're going to talk about obviously Caleb and Arya as well. He's going to break down some stuff which is really important as well in terms of the relationship that he actually has with Maria. He says some things about their relationship which is quite
small, but they point out that way.
okay.
That's why I cover them.
A lot of things, and that is like a financial thing. Like I heard someone say, like all you need to raise family is just love, and it's like no,
I don't believe in that. I
No,
think
I'm
that's
sorry.
bull
Like-
crap. Bull crap.
What
Okay.
about you? What are some things that really
Okay, so one of the things he mentioned was obviously finances, and that being a major play in the relationship as to why he hasn't married yet. And it's because he believes he has to take on the whole financial burden, right? And he knows that marriage takes finances, which is true. He's not lying. And actually himself and Arya actually begin to bond over the finances issue. Now, my biggest issue with this situation is the fact that actually, I mean, he hasn't fleshed out for us anyway, he hasn't fleshed out what the relationship will look like in terms of financially. Like, do you want to pay all the bills? So do we need to pay 60, 40? Do I need to pay the mortgage? Like, maybe there's that conversation that needs to happen as well that will probably ease his fears around the finances. Is he right about finances being a big part of marriage? No, right? Yes, he is. It's a big part, and it does break up relationships. So absolutely be stable. My thing is you didn't make that your main issue. You didn't, when they were asking you what the real issue is to why you don't want to marry Maria, that wasn't your main issue. So finance is only a small part of the issue of why you don't want to necessarily marry at this given point in time.
issue the ultimatum, and you're like, nah, it's because of you, and this is why. This is what you are doing. But also leads to my dilemma with my ex Mariah and I getting married, because I got to figure out why I'm in this constant state of trying to build someone else without having myself built up. Or
so he's a Bob the Builder. He builds other people up without building himself up. Well, then we know that that's not a Maria issue. That's a you issue. That's not a Maria issue. That's a you issue. And you're also projecting that onto Maria. Like, Maria needs to go and see the life and see herself and just know the world better. And, you know, she needs to get to see what other men are out there, which partly is kind of true. Maria kind of admitted it, that she realized she didn't even know what she actually wanted and what she needed. Fair play. But the other aspect is you kind of projecting, because this is your issue. If you keep choosing people that want to build, or you want to build them up, and you haven't built yourself up, you are a project builder. And they're a project builder because you end up taking more validation externally when you decide to invest in other people, because you don't actually put yourself as a priority. You don't value you. You value other people when they value you. You like to be needed. And that is an issue that you need to solve. No one else. That's not on Maria. That's on you. So you need to work that out. Okay. And that's a big thing he has to work out as well. Right.
even now, like the main thing is like feeling like I may be replaceable. And that's because she wasn't single for a while between relationships. So I get concerned that there might be a better match out there for her because she hasn't taken the time to actually date and get to know.
So why does she need to date other people to get to know there's someone better out there for her? Do I need to date the whole world to find out if the person I'm dating is a good person for me or not? Again, this is not a Maria issue. This is a you issue. You don't feel you're good enough. You're not being honest. You don't feel like you are the best that she can get. That tells me that maybe you feel like she can do better than you and that maybe you're holding her back, or rather you have low self-esteem and low self-worth. You don't believe that you are a catch. You don't believe that you're A1. You don't believe that you're the right kind of person for Mariah, I should even say. So it actually it's the issue of not marrying her is you've got insecurities and actual emotional wounds that need to be solved. And if they're not solved, yes, you can't marry her. So actually and truly, you need to be letting her go.
But end of the day, if that's the case, then I probably should know sooner than later.
We're gonna figure this out.
If I'm honest with you, if he doesn't get his stuff together, he should just leave her alone. Let her go off. It's been 2 years. Let her go off and find the one that she needs to find, because you're wasting our time. You're wasting our time and you're wasting her time. Okay. Because in reality, you are not sure because you don't feel you're worthy of her. You think she's going to outgrow you. You feel replaceable, as you said, but she's never ever said any of those words that she feels like you're replaceable. We've never heard anything like that. Why is it that you projected that you feel like you'll be replaceable? What has she done that made you feel like you'll be replaceable? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. All right, cool. Arya, Scotty, and Zena as well. Let's go to it because Arya lets us know why she also too has not decided to get married just yet as well.
This relationship, or is this triggered
it's
from
just life. Like I think that like
so it's not even
stems
triggered from him and something he's done. Wow.
My emotions are too overwhelming for him. I feel like that's why I'm so hesitant to like make decisions on stuff, like getting married or having kids, things like that, because I want to be stable in all aspects of my life. And that's why I'm not happy about an ultimatum.
Me either.
Okay, so she said she wants. Now, here's my thing. Arya's situation is confusing to me. I'll tell you why. Because it's not clearly articulated what the actual issue is. Now, there is some things that I caught, but it wasn't very much like Caleb. Maybe that's why they connected. It's not clear. Now, what I'm really hearing is that I'm not emotionally safe, but I'm having to decipher that through a lot of noise. It's not very clear as to what actually the issue is and what I'm hearing, right?
Want to do because I'm dependent on a man's paycheck to do it. That is something that scares me. I think.
Okay, so first part, she says, obviously, for her, she feels like she has to depend on she has to depend on a man's paycheck. She doesn't want to do that, which is again about the autonomy. It's about control. It's about independence, which I know very well, right? And people like that tend to be also emotionally dismissive as well. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a little bit independent. Nothing wrong with obviously having your own money. Nothing wrong with having your own career, ambitions, and goals. What is the issue is when we can't combine ourselves or be interdependent with our partners. And so, with that particular aspect, when we see obviously Arya, we hear her talk again about wanting to be her own person because of what she saw with her parents. That fear is coming in, and so she creates a wall between herself and the other person, which means it's going to be very, very difficult. Okay, it's going to be very, very difficult to build bridges quickly. You're going to have to build it very, very slowly. Now, it depends if the person wants to build those bridges, and we have the skill to be able to build those bridges. Can they do that? And that's a real question.
I think that's like the issue with my ex. He can be consistent in so many things, but like even like the smallest things, I always have like a plan B.
Like, is this bleeding over from a previous relationship, or is this triggered
I think it's
from
just life? Like I think that like
so it's not even triggered
from
from him and something he's done. Wow.
My emotions.
Hey, look at Scott. Scott there was like, whoa. Scott was like, damn. So you mean that wasn't even him what he did? He said, damn. So you're telling me that you're triggered not by your man, you're triggered by life? He said, oh, damn. He started getting a little bit itchy himself. He started realizing, you bit mad for me. Like your one is not even a go on. You just triggered. That's what he said. But what she's explaining here is, again, that she just said something very interesting. She said, hold on. He's very consistent, but he doesn't have plan B. That's a you problem, Arya. Right? That's a you problem. The need for plan B, which I'm a person that has plan B and C, yeah, is because you don't like being disappointed. You don't like the fact that if something goes wrong, it's not in your hands. The reason being is control, but it's also because you feel like your parents let you down in some particular area potentially. You feel like your parents maybe had said something or did something and they didn't follow through, and it makes you feel like you are going to be disappointed, which I understand, right? I totally understand that. You know, again, I get it.
Too overwhelming for him. I feel like that's why I'm so hesitant to like make decisions on stuff, like getting married or having kids, things like that, because I want to be stable in all aspects of my life. And that's why I'm not happy about an ultimatum.
Me either.
Well, who will be happy about an ultimatum? Okay. Who will be happy about an ultimatum? The reality of the situation, you know, the reality of the situation is that, everybody's been issued an ultimatum, and she wants to be stable and wants to be balanced in her life before she gets married, which is fine. But your partner doesn't want that. They want to be married now, which means you got a choice to make. Either you're willing to take a risk or you got to leave it alone. You're not ready for it right now. That's fine. That's not a beef. Let's just say that you're not ready for it right now, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying to you? You can't want to hold on to somebody because you feel they're good at the same time knowing that you're not ready for it. And that's okay. You just got to leave it alone. You know, just got to leave it alone. Just got to leave it alone and keep on moving. You know what I'm saying to you? And see what happens in future.
So honestly, like what I really want to get out of this whole experience is just like knowing my true self and coming out of this just like a happier person. But props to you for keep on going, and I'm keep on going. We're still doing this, and I think you make it easier.
Okay, so in the end, like I said, I think there's a lot more discussed between Scotty and between Scotty and Arya. They have a lot more conversation they need to go through. But for Arya, again, I wasn't very sure. I wasn't very articulated very clearly what the actual issue is as to what they were dealing with. Okay, now I'm gonna say something, guys.
Relationships. But it's not like the thought or the feelings or the emotions of anyone that we came here with are just gone, right? Like they're not non-existent. And so
they're coexisting at the same time while we're dating and trying to form new connections.
All right, so we're going to talk about obviously Scotty and Zena. Can I be honest with you guys? Zena's going back to her man. As of what I've seen so far in episode 2, Zena is going back to her man. Let me tell you why I say this. Okay, there's something that she keeps saying that, or she didn't even keep saying. She said it once. She said something which is really interesting. She said trial husband, and I said the fact that she says trial husband. Okay, all right. The fact she said trial husband made me realize that wait, if you say trial husband, you are emotionally blocking the situation. I said you're putting up emotional blockers, right? So she's not open. She's open, but not all the way. She's making sure she keeps that.
It's so weird.
It's weird. Like it's a weird, like conflicting process of thoughts to just go through.
I would say copy and paste, and I feel like
copy and paste.
Literally, it happens so organically with us, and that might be the scary part.
For sure. I think definitely yesterday I was thinking a lot more about the trial marriages and just a lot more about compatibility, because I think there's obviously like an attraction. It's really more now about like how.
Now I think these two have actually got a really good connection. Okay, I think these two got a really good connection, and I think these two have a good vibe and good energy. And I love the fact that obviously that they talk so freely with so much energy, so much vibes. Like they talk deep. Like I mean, at the end they spoke very, very, very deep at the very, very end, and I was like, okay, I totally understand it. Like they're talking on some levels. You know what I'm saying to you? Now I think again with Scotty, he's always seeking for an emotional connection. That is what he's seeking for. He wants a deep emotional connection in a situation, and he wants to be able to connect with somebody, which again I think is pretty cool. I think they end up discussing some few things, which I need to see, which I think you need to see as well. Let's have a look.
How would we really function together?
Yeah,
Yeah. Are you like a cuddler?
I am. Are you big?
Some boxers or some shorts, and that's it.
Yeah. I typically,
Supported. Like, I like effort.
I want my husband to be 100% invested.
Okay, so obviously with Scotty and Zena as well, especially at the dinner aspect as well, he spoke quite fondly, quite deeply as well. And I think what was key about Scotty and Zena is that for me, they always talk with a smile, but he spoke about being uplifted, supported, and needing effort. He spoke consistently about that. He said he wants someone to uplift him, support, and effort. And I think what I saw with that particular aspect is in that space, I think what we are seeing here is someone who maybe a little bit, has lacked in the area of being supported, cared for, appreciated, acknowledged as well. And because of that, I understand that in that moment, in those moments, he needs a bit more verbal appreciation and verbal acknowledgements, right? And usually I know that very close to what I've experienced myself. I can tell that particular aspect for him, maybe he is not received that from his parents. Maybe he didn't get much of that support from Arya, and he's seeking from Zena as well. So yeah, it's quite interesting to kind of see. I think personally, looking at their relationship again, that like I said, I think Zena finds him attractive, but she's definitely put on some walls. Now they seem to be the unproblematic kind of couple. So they seem to be unproblematic so far in episode 2. We have to wait to episode 3, see maybe there's more madness, but so far in episode 2 they are unproblematic, and so it's good to see Zena and Scotty get together. Like I said, I think both of them can learn from each other. I think both of their partners, they felt maybe like weren't emotionally giving them what they actually needed and giving them the support emotionally that they actually wanted as well. So I can't wait to kind of see them obviously in episode 3. So we'll break down some more of what actually happened with them a little bit later on. I think there's one other aspect I would love to cover really, really quickly, and it was this particular date between Arya and Jay.
Conversation.
Did you think that when you first met me or when you first saw me?
No, I did not. I think
Should I feel this way? Should I feel guilty? But like, I'm just embracing the experience.
you and I,
It's 5. Yeah.
Sorry,
I am adamant about not wanting to change my ex, but I want him to like really see like why I feel this way.
Yeah.
And if he cannot see it,
Me?
yeah,
So we have similar backgrounds.
Yeah.
When I tell you things, like, you can empathize with it.
I want to see the part where they talk about
secure, and he seems like he's very loyal, and I think that to me like really matters. Do you feel like how old?
Biological timeline.
Oh,
but I never want that.
Before I talk about the kids, now something that Arya mentioned, I forgot. Arya mentioned, and this is the second time she's mentioned it, about Scotty not saying enough nice things to Arya. And I said, okay, so that means Scotty's missing a trick here as well. There's not enough positive affirmations and enough positive reinforcement. And sometimes that can be the case because you're always looking at the negative, because you're always looking at the bad of the person, because you want to have confirmational bias about your point of view, that you don't notice the good in that person and the nice things and the kind things that they do. When she mentioned about not hearing enough nice things in her life, I said, oh Lord, bro, you got to do better, man. You got to do better, because she's needing some of those nice things to be said. And I think he needs it too. I think they both need it. You know what I'm saying to you? So, but in this date here with JR and Arya, I said, damn. I said, hold on a minute now.
Timeline to influence when I'm having kids.
Now, how can you say I don't want someone's biological clock influencing when I want to have kids? Are you all right? Are you all right? The biological clock will always influence when you want to have kids. You are plus 30, JR. You are plus 30, JR. The biological clock will always influence when you can have kids. You are not 20 anymore, my friend. You are 30 plus. This is not a beef, and I'm not trying to shut him down or embarrass him. But the reality of the situation is you are 30 plus. There is no biological clock that will not influence you. There's always going to be a biological clock that's going to influence you. You're not going to get around that. You know what I'm saying to you? So that was quite interesting for me as well. But anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you and leave it there. We'll probably see each other tomorrow night when I do episode 3, and then Monday night we'll do a super panel, I think, or Tuesday night I'll do a super panel. So it depends on what my schedule is. But make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button. On the bell button, we've got to go. We gotta leave it as it is. Okay, all right. So we'll see you again for another episode breakdown. Much love, much appreciation. Ta-da, ta-da.